For more, we can speak to our French politics editor, Mark Perlman. Mark, I'm not going to ask you about the composition. We just saw in that report a lot of speculation. Could you at least explain to us why it's taking so long?
Why it's taking so long? Because we're in uncharted territory, because this has been a very unusual snap election with a fractured National Assembly and an unlikely prime minister. Michel Barnier hails from a group that has less than 10% of the seats of the National Assembly after this election. And so he has been trying for over 2 weeks now, it's a record under the Fifth Republic, to form a government, not only with members of his Conservative Party, not only with Emmanuel Macron's party, but trying to enlarge it as much as possible because, as the president told him when he appointed him, he wanted to have a government representing really the nation. And that's been an issue. Why? Because the left, even people who were deemed center-left, said, no, thank you, we won't get into this government. And so he has tried to lure them and saying, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to maybe take some measures that you will like on the environment, on taxes, and so on. But it hasn't worked. And so now he decided yesterday that enough was enough and that he would bring together essentially the right and Macron's center party and its allies and try to cobble together government. But even that is proving to be complicated because the first draft that Michel Barnier gave was too heavy with the members of his party. And the president, Emmanuel Macron, said, that's not going to work. You know, my party obviously didn't win the election, but we have twice as many MPs than you have with your Conservative Party. And so this is why there was a lot of back and forth, even maybe some false drama when there were reports that Michel Barnier had had enough, that he wanted to hand in his resignation 2 days ago. Now they've reached a compromise. Yesterday night, there was a meeting between Emmanuel Macron, Michel Barnier at the presidential palace, the Élysée. Michel Barnier presented him the list of 38 ministers, and we just saw a report about the main ones on this. Now we're hearing that there's still some adjustments being made. A government reshuffle lasts until the very last second. Some ministers have said they were chosen or called really within the last hour before previous governments were announced. So there's still lots of back and forth. And there's also a process whereby all the potential ministers are being vetted by the High Institute for the Transparency of Public Life. It was created a few years ago to make sure that you paid your taxes, that you don't have legal troubles, to make sure that after appointing a minister, the prime minister finds himself with a controversy and so on. So this takes at least 1 or 2 days, which is why, to probably answer your question, the government will very likely be announced either tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, but probably not today, Friday.
Yeah, at some point we're going to see this list. At some point, presumably, we will have this cabinet, but we can be sure that the political headache is far from over here in France.
Yes, because when the leaked list of ministers came out, which is rather unusual already, because normally it's a tightly held secret, the left has said, wait a minute, we were ahead in the snap elections, and this is a right-wing government. And they're adding to that a right-wing government clearly under the threat or under the watch, if you want, of the National Rally. Why? Because the National Rally has to accept the government in Parliament, because if the National Rally decides to join hands with the left and vote a motion of no confidence, this government falls immediately because the mathematics are very easy.
But that would be strange bedfellows.
Yes, that would be strange bedfellows. But yes, obviously. But the left is saying this is a government that's already pretty much a center-right, if not a right-wing government when you watch the ministers. And in addition, it has an implicit alliance with the national rally. So this is why you're already hearing lots of protests from the left. And this shows that it's going to be very, very difficult for this new government, first of all, to stay alive. And then the first hurdle, and it's a big hurdle, is the budget. The budget was supposed to be voted on October 1st. Well, this is the day Michel Barnier will give his policy speech before Parliament. So we're already running late on this crucial budget.
Mark, thank you very much. Mark Perlman.